21 minutes past 8 this morning. I'm delighted to say Anna Caplice is with us, who plays rugby now with Gloucester and of course with Ireland. Anna, good morning to you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Busy few days, but yeah, feeling good. The sun is out here in Gloucester this morning, which was a change from training last night.
So the Gloucester move happened last week, or certainly the announcement of it happened last week. Had it been in the works for a while?
A little bit, yeah. I had, I came back to Dublin last year to focus on Irish stuff, and I'd left Quins kind of mid-season. You know, COVID had a lot to do with that as well. So, yeah, I'd been thinking about what my next move would be for a while. Gloucester were in touch a lot. I'd been speaking to some other clubs and some clubs in different countries as well. I was thinking about going down to France as well. But actually, you know, the decision only came kind of recently enough when I'd seen the opening rounds of the Premiership. I was preparing for qualifiers, so I knew that I wouldn't be able to make a move till, you know, around this time anyway, which bought me a little bit of time. And yeah, I really liked the sound of Gloucester, you know, a new city. You know, I know some of the girls from having played against them. I know that they're a really good club. I really liked the sound of the management and really liked how we'd been speaking to each other. And yeah, I decided to go for it with Gloucester in the end. And yeah, it's just been busy since the announcement and moving over and all the rest. So this is just my second or third day here, only come over on Monday. So
right.
Yeah, it's looking good.
So you're a new kid again in your early 30s. How does that feel?
That's how I'm telling myself that I'm still young. Do you know what? I'm used to it. I move a lot. I'm always, you know, happy to kind of take on a new adventure. I'm not much a girl to kind of settle down and stay in one place for too long. So I'm used to it, and I'm really, you know, I really like the feeling around here so far. Except for the rain last night, that was tough going.
Surely you're used to the rain if you're Irish. Come here. What is the story?
Everyone was saying to me, but no, it was pretty bad last night. Sorry, go ahead.
What's the story with the league? Is it semi-professional? Is it full-time professional? What is the actual setup at the moment?
I suppose, yeah, we could start to say that it's semi-pro now. It's professional for girls who are on contracts with their own unions. So the RFU and the Scottish Union as well, they'll have their own players on full-time contracts. Not all of them, just whoever has been selected to take a contract. And then other than that, there will be players like myself that are on a contract with the club, and then others who aren't at that stage yet. So it's actually kind of a mixed bag. So there will be extra training throughout the week for people who can make it, and then, you know, your regular Tuesday, Thursday and Monday evening kind of gym skills and on-pitch sessions for, you know, just like any other club.
So are you professional? Is that what it was? You're not working at the same time?
I will be getting a job. I suppose semi-pro. So, you know, it's the first time actually I've gotten a contract from a club, which is really nice.
Pretty exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, it is exciting, and it's very new. So it's kind of you know, I'm learning how to deal with it and take it on. But it is great to finally, you know, get some kind of you know, financial return and support for playing club, which is, you know, such a massive part of your week and your life and everything. But I will be getting a job to suit around that, like I've always done, and you know, most of us always do.
Okay, so that's the current situation. Let's talk about the situation with Ireland at the moment and the failure to qualify for the World Cup. What's your assessment of what happened over the last month? How did we go from a position where we were not quite contenders, but felt like contenders, to not qualifying?
Definitely contenders, and that's not, you know, when it was announced to us that the World Cup was pushed off, that was a really big announcement, because we were expecting to qualify and not, I have to you know, because a few people have kind of raised this question, were we complacent? Were we going into these qualifiers thinking they were in the bag? Absolutely not. All summer we were focused on, we've seen Spain play on the Sevens World Series. We know what kind of players they have. We know that they used to be in the Six Nations. We know that they're no stranger to big competitions like this. We've seen Scotland beat France, we've seen the performances out of Italy the last few years. We knew that this qualifiers was going to be super tough, but I think we also thought, and I certainly believed, that if it was us at our best, we could beat anyone, and we've done that before. We beat Italy last year in Six Nations, and or even earlier this year, I should say. And we always put in good performances against Scotland, and I don't know is the answer to your question. Like, what's my assessment? I still don't know. It's still very raw. Like, that was only on Saturday, and I had to pack up my bags and move out and move in and drive to England and all the rest. So I haven't been able to think about it in full, and I think that I'm probably happy to not think about it for a little while, because it's still very raw. Like, the disappointment is colossal. Like, I still can't really believe it. Like, I couldn't believe it. I know I wanted to be in Italy, and unfortunately that didn't work out for me. So sitting at home watching it was, I'll never forget it, to be honest. I'll never forget how that feeling and how upset I was, and I was just crying, and my family were there, and they were trying to say the right things, and it was just really difficult to be consoled in that moment, because everything changed for everyone then in that moment. Like, I can't imagine how the girls on the pitch must have felt like after being completely spent, because it was a very tough game. I still don't know. I still haven't watched the game back. I'm not even sure if I will. Like, I don't know is the answer to how the wheels have come off.
So you made the point there that you weren't involved, and it must have felt even more difficult to kind of watch that, because you had no influence over it. And I presume you felt like you should have been there and you should have had the opportunity. What happened? Why didn't you make the cut?
I mean, anyone who was on the squad who wasn't selected feels like they should have been there, and feels like they definitely could have been there. Anyone that was on the squad is definitely good enough to be there, or and the amount of work that everyone put in. Everyone who isn't selected feels like they should have been there. For me personally, I've had a very kind of up and down kind of international career, where I've put in good performances and then been dropped, and then came back in and put in good performances and then been dropped. So it's just been the nature of the beast for me personally. Not to say that I'm used to it. I still was absolutely heartbroken when I wasn't selected, both for the last Six Nations and for the qualifiers as well. And it's not like a race where you run the race and the fastest people get selected. No, it's very subjective, and the coach will pick his team based on what he believes he needs, and every single player is different. So that's what makes it difficult to select and to be on the other side of it then. And yeah, it was really hard for me to watch at home. And like, I came to Gloucester, and speaking with the Gloucester coaches here, like, I had full intention still of getting a ticket to New Zealand. Like, I was, that's why I'm here in a club like Gloucester, to put in that work, to put in the performances, hold my hand up high, and put my name in the hat for selection for Ireland going forward, and for the World Cup eventually next year. And like I say, that's all changed now. It doesn't change how well I want to perform with Gloucester, in club. Like, I'm still really looking forward to the season here anyway. But I don't know. It's still, like I say, it's still all kind of settling in. And speaking to a few of the girls that were in Italy, I know it's only starting to hit them now as well, kind of as they're going back to work now and back to reality, and the vision that we all had for the next year has changed.
It's interesting that the people in Parma, I assume, had a very tough reaction to the performances over the past little while, whereas maybe your view was a tad different. Like, are you mixing the sort of short-term view, as in what happened over the past couple of weeks, with a more helicopter view about what has happened over the past couple of years? Have you thought a little bit about that at all, in terms of the structures that are in place and some of the things that need to be done outside of the immediate national team in order for Ireland to start qualifying again and to start succeeding again?
Yeah, I definitely, that helicopter view is there, and that only comes kind of sometimes when we're giving it prolonged thought. But this moment right now was very important. These qualifiers were the overriding of everything. But yeah, when I take a step back and I think of when we lost to Wales in that 8th place playoff in 2017, what a massive moment that was, and the knock-on effect from that. That's why we're here now, was just the knock-on effect of not qualifying in the 2017 World Cup. And we were certainly a good enough team to qualify and even do better in that last World Cup. And it didn't work out for us then either. And that is, to use the phrase again, the nature of the beast. And sport can be very cruel. And that last World Cup was certainly a cruel result for us and that team then. But now to have it kind of roll on and be in a similar position, like I know from chatting to a few of the girls that were over in Italy, and it was different for them because of COVID and restriction rules. They were in the hotel a lot, and it was very tough to try and entertain themselves constantly because usually at a tournament like that you can walk and go for a coffee and get out of the hotel and go to the shops or whatever, but they couldn't this time, so that was very tough on them and all of the teams. Speaking to them, because they had a lot of free time, so I chatted to whoever I could whenever I could, just to kind of take their mind off things. But it felt, from what they were saying to me, it felt similar to how I felt in 2017, being on the high bench, being out of the squad, but still having to, turn up and do your jobs, like filling the water bottles, holding the bags, having, supporting the girls on the pitch. And that a lot of that felt similar. It reminded me of the 2017 World Cup, something that I, not just being on the high bench, but I think overall with the squad, and overall with the results, and a good result, a bad result, and up and down throughout the tournament. It sounded very similar to 2017, and I never really thought that 2017 would be emulated again, or it never would be repeated. But it seems as if that's what's happened.
Could I just ask, why has that happened? Because I agree with you. That did seem like, at least it's the low ebb. I guess that was the sentiment around 2017, and it seems that we have the same idea now, as in, at least this is the low ebb, but there's no guarantee of that. So why did that low ebb get lower?
I don't know. And I think a lot of people don't know. Going into, if I compare like the two programs before 2017 and before these qualifiers, they were quite similar. Very tough camps, really kind of pulling together. I actually think that this time, and the how we bring together the 7s and the 15s programs in 2017 was very tough because the 7s girls weren't available until very late before the tournament. So we had some girls coming in very late before 2017 into the squad. And then this time around, there was no 7 series. So the 7s girls were with us the whole time. So that was kind of a big difference. There was no kind of last minute drop-ins into the squad that, needed to be, brought up to scratch like very quickly. So that was one difference. And you'd actually think that might have helped or made a big difference, like performance wise or results wise, but somehow it hasn't. And the real answer is I don't know. And I intend to look into it myself, personally. I want to know, like, I feel like I have, and hopefully still have a lot more to give to the Irish jersey, as a player. But, beyond that, I hope to kind of make sure that I know what the infrastructure means and what the development plans are and is this the right thing? And I want to know all that. It's hard as a player because you just want to play and you have to focus on, you have so much to think about anyway. You need to be studying line-out scrums, plays, and focusing on your nutrition and your sleep and all these things. So you don't have time to kind of look into it as a player. But, I can see that on Twitter, past players having discussions online, like open discussions online about what may have happened or may not have happened. And it's good to see, and it's healthy to see these conversations happening. And, you know, there's no denying there's an awful lot of people in the RFU that put in an awful lot of work. And I don't want to see them being, you know, talked down about or saying that they didn't do enough, because a lot of people certainly did enough. And I don't know, again, I'll say it again, I don't know how the wheels have come off like they have.
Okay, and good stuff. We wish you the very best of luck at Gloucester, and thanks a million for being so honest with us this morning about the situation there. Cheers.
Thank you so much.
It's Anna Caplice giving us her thoughts on the situation with regards to the women's team in rugby. We're going to talk about the men's with Keith Wood in just a moment.